Gato Perro back with another action figure review. Today we're taking a look at the exclusive Disney Store Spectacular Spider-Man. Oh man, this guy is in my presence and I cannot believe it came this early. It was actually released on February 10th and it was supposed to come out on the 29th in stores and perhaps online. But I had no idea it would come out this early. And then as a bunch of people get it online and do their own reviews, and obviously I got jealous and I got kind of angry, so I went ahead and ordered him up and spent quite a bit of money just so I can get him fast track over here. And he's finally here. I'm so excited. We got Spectacular Spider-Man on the side. We got a collage of a bunch of different artwork on the side. On the bottom we got a spider web right there. On the side we got kind of a picture of Spider-Man from the Superior Spider-Man comics. And on the back we got a giant picture of the figure itself. And for some reason there's a lot of Captain America surrounding it. And there's no actual bio, but that's okay. So now let's get to the Spectacular Spider-Man and see if he lives up to the name. Alright, so here we have the Spectacular Spider-Man out of the packaging, and I love it a lot. Ever since I saw it, I thought he was very aesthetically pleasing. The light blue, the big eyes, the very vibrant red really makes this guy pop, and it's something that I don't really have on my shelf. We haven't had a Spider-Man with this much of a light blue in a long time, ever since like the Snapshot Spider-Man from Toy Biz, and this guy's even lighter than this guy over here. You can see he's just a bit darker. And no, mine is a little bit old, it could be that too, but still this guy's very nice to look at. But although he does have a very big resemblance to the recent Marvel Legends Hobgoblin Build-A-Figure series Spider-Man from Hasbro, and I'm pretty sure that's more of a coincidence than it is. They look practically the same if you look at them. They're obviously at a scale, but they have the exact same costume, spider logos, the eyes are even the same. Even the back of the spider's designed equally, so I don't know what the deal is, but either way, I'm not going to complain about it either, because both of them are a great Spider-Man. They both represent him in his most modern, traditional way possible. And yeah, basically this Spider-Man, I thought at first was the Amazing Spider-Man mold from the Amazing Spider-Man 2, but just redone. But after having a closer look at it, it is obviously not. Even the thighs, I think, seem a little bigger. So this guy's a brand new mold, and instead of having our raised out webbings, they are indented. You can see right there, so they're practically different. Now this guy doesn't include a base like other Marvel Selects. Instead it comes with a variety of different interchangeable hands, including a wall crawling hand right here, which I'll mention right now. I like how the webbing pattern was done inside the hand. Very just, I don't know, just basic, just lines going through it. And then we got a whipping hand. There are two hands for each of these. Very nice. Then we got a gripping hand, which you can see the thumb and the knuckles or the fingers are all connected together. But if you do have the web from the Amazing Spider-Man 2 Marvel Select, you can put it in right there. So that works out great, or any other accessories you can think of, like steel chairs for whatever reason. And you can also attach this mask right here, which is also sculpted. Ironically, the lines came out a lot cleaner on this than the actual figure, which I'll get to later. You can see the eyes and everything all folded up, so that's good. And then it has these little ridges on the side of the mask right here. Alright, you can just slide in between the hand and it'll look like he's holding his mask just like that, although there is a hole on the side. And the other ones are just a fist already attached to the figure. Alright, so taking a closer look at the figure, you can see the webs are indented and they have a black line in between it. And the head is the best part of this figure that's been painted, which is the best thing for me because I absolutely love this head sculpt, the eyes and everything around it. The paint is applied perfectly onto the layer of the eye lenses. Nice white. There's no actual shading in there, which I wish they kind of would have done something similar to how they did with the Amazing Spider-Man 2, because I like this little grayish fade they had in it. But oh well, still looks really nice. Nice traditional Spider-Man head. And they, unlike the rest of the body, which seems a bit more of a realistic take, it doesn't have any of the actual features of their face underneath it. Instead, it seems kind of like a very cartoony face to me. And now into the upper chest, which I think has the most problems of paint issues. And other reviews I've seen that people have all of these issues as well. Although mine isn't too bad, it's very noticeable up close. For example, the webs on the stomach are not anywhere near applied into the ridges of the sculpt right there. They're way out of line. And then the blue bleeds into the red, or there's just not enough red applied to the stomach as well. The other parts over here on the chest, on the upper pec, you can see the red bleeding onto the blue. And then it might be kind of tricky to see, but the spider is not layered on top of the actual sculpt either. It's just kind of very slanted off to the side. Although it looks alright from far, up close it does bother me just a bit. And then I think the red on the left arm is just a little bit on the pink side. I think it is the one that at least matches the rest of the reds. On the right it looks a lot more clean, but again there's a lot of paint issues right there. And then, like, the not most worst part of it, but it's still noticeable for me, it is the spider logo, which is applied to the middle, but it's still not enough red. I can see where the legs aren't exactly painted or filled in with the sculpt either. And again, you can see more red going into the blue right there. And then I feel like across the waist or the belt, there's just not enough of the black outline going into the seams either. And then from the front, it doesn't look so bad, so it looks alright. And then the blue doesn't have any actual shading either. And nice muscle definition. I do think he has kind of long thighs. I don't know, that might just be me. And we go into the feet. Just nice traditional Spider-Man feet right there. Nothing to complain about. And then there's holes at the bottom of the feet. And what I consider to be the best part of this figure, we get an interchangeable Peter Parker head. Finally, we get a good head to put on our Spider-Man. This head looks fantastic. Alright, so I think it mostly resembles to me from Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. That's what it looks like to me. But it's a nice modern take on Spider-Man that undoubtedly, if you put on a Spider-Man figure body, you're going to consider this as Spider-Man. And he has just that slight grin. Or, sorry, is it grin? But a nice, gentle, like, friendly smile that really, I don't know, just captures the character really well for me. The answers of the character and the paint came out really good on mine. I never seen any issues on other people's Spider-Man, so I think that's a really good thing. Although there is a little bit of the brown hair that isn't filled in with the sculpt all the way, but not a big issue. Even the little curl that has down here, which kind of ironically reminds me of me, even though I haven't shown my face. But my hair is kind of like this, so it kind of makes me feel like it's a little me. So it makes me feel like Spider-Man. But anyway, nice hair sculpt all the way, nice and long. It looks alright, and I did try it on other Spider-Man figures, but it doesn't look anywhere near as correct. I tried the Amazing Spider-Man figure, I tried the Amazing Spider-Man 2 figure, I've tried other Marvel Legends. It didn't look as good, but it looks really good on this guy, and I'm probably going to display it on my shelf with the Peter Parker head, since it's kind of a unique thing, so I don't have any other Peter Parker heads on my Spider-Mans. And every other one that came out on the Toy Biz series came out really expensive now on eBay. Oh, and I forgot to mention, you can also fill out the appearance of Peter Parker by having him with this little tiny camera right here, which is really nice. You can have him as a reporter, which I also plan to at some point. Maybe I'll show right now later of him in like a civilian clothing that I have. You can see the camera right here. The lens is painted with a glossy black. You even get the shutter right here. And then we get this little strap, which is a little bothering that it doesn't have an actual shape or that it's not anywhere pliable, which it was kind of more of a separate like lanyard piece or something like that. But it's still right, really good sculpts, and you can just have them on your Spider-Man, and you have Peter Parker. And here's my attempt at having Spider-Man in his civilian clothing, a kind of a cheap alternative. But, you know, it's something that if you look at my intro, it's in there when he rips open the shirt to reveal the Spider-Man costume, and that was the Mayfix figure, and it was too big. But since this is a 7.5-inch figure, I think it fits him pretty well. He's even taller than the wrestlers that came with this. So the pants are from the Rock figure, and this is obviously a CM Punk sweatshirt, you can see right there, which I might try to get rid of. But this look kind of reminds me of what he looked like in the Ultimate Comics, or even the Ultimate Spider-Man video game when he's in the rain fighting Venom. And you can just pull it back. So that might be a work in progress that I might try to fix later. I might try to swap out the hands. I don't know about the feet. I might not even have to show them like for stop motions or something like that. But I think this works out pretty well, and you can just go BAM with your Spider-Man costume. Now for his articulation, it is pretty decent. I can definitely tell that Diamond Select tried. It does have a lot of points of articulation, but they don't all work correctly or as efficient as they should. But for the head, it is a pretty good start because they added a hinge to it, so you can look up enough and you can look pretty much down all the way. With the Peter Parker head on, it looks about there. And then with the shoulders, we get a standard ball joint, so you can go out about that far. You can raise them all the way around. He does have a bicep swivel, which I managed to make kind of loose. What do you know? I think I fixed itself. But anyway, at one point I was posing the figure around a lot and it kind of just went really loose on me. So just know that maybe it'll fix itself. I don't know. He does also have double jointed elbows, which this one doesn't bend as far in because the bottom joint is stuck. But this one can bend all the way in right there. And you can see they painted in the blue joints. And he does have a wrist hinge, and it does go up and down and swivels. Now the diaphragm joint is very disappointing. It does go down just a tiny bit like that, and back just enough to almost just being straight. So that's not really useful for me. I don't know why they refuse to use crunch joints. I think that would be way more effective. Then we do have a waist swivel just before it gets to the belt. And then we have Y joints, which they've been using for all their Spider-Mans, which I still don't get why they can't just go to T joints. But you can't swivel it forward and move the thigh forward for a kick. And he does move out pretty much almost a split like that. He does have a thigh swivel. He does have double jointed knees. He does also have a calf swivel at the boots. And he does have ankles to move down, up, and then they do have an ankle pivot. Alright, so this being a Marvel Select figure, you can see he stands pretty much almost close to 7¼ inches tall. First, here he is compared to fellow Marvel Select Amazing Spider-Man. We have TASM 1 and TASM 2 right there. As you can see, he's gotten progressively taller for whatever reason. Comparing him to some fellow Avengers, here is Marvel Select Mighty Thor. And I feel like Spider-Man is just a bit too tall. I feel like Spider-Man should be a lot more puny, especially compared to this big behemoth that is a Thor figure. Which is why I would have preferred he would have been a little bit shorter, more in the scale of the first Amazing Spider-Man 1 figure. You can see right here, I'll take this guy out of the way first. I think Thor just looks a lot more mightier and just more Goliath-like when he's next to a shorter Spider-Man, as he should. You can see it just goes a long way. But you can obviously have this guy over here fit in by having him crouch down or swing. Either way he wants. He still looks good because Thor is obviously still taller, but it's just my personal preference. Then here's Hawkeye. Moving on to some of Spider-Man's Rogues Gallery, here we have Marvel Select Venom, which finally we have a Spider-Man to go along with our Venom comic book style, I mean. And these guys look great together. This guy is going to be re-released by Marvel Select, and so is Carnage. And unfortunately, I do not have the Carnage to compare him to. And I will be picking up the re-release because that guy is awesome. I can't believe I missed out on him, but it's just my luck. Anyway, these two look great together. I think they definitely should go on the shelf fighting. And I'm announcing right now that I will be doing a Spider-Man vs. Venom Round 2 video coming at some point this year. Mostly during the summer. I can at least promise during the summer. So yeah, there you go. And lastly, the Marvel Select Rhino, which just looks awesome and like a total beast next to the Spider-Man. And these guys look great together, so that you should definitely have them in your shelf. So I think this is a very terrific Spider-Man, the best Marvel Select has done yet. It's about time we got a comic book Spider-Man that lived up to, you know, the quality that Marvel Select is capable of. And they're coming up with a bunch of other fantastic figures, including Civil War with Captain America, they got Winter Soldier, and the brand new Mark 46 Iron Man. So I'm looking forward to that. And this Spider-Man, I gotta say, has quickly risen up to at least my top 5 Spider-Mans. The Peter Parker head really brings it up for me. Really nice head sculpt. And actually, I had this thought where I think it would have been a lot more, I don't know, special if instead of we gotten this guy to come out in regular comic book stores, and the Disney Store exclusive would have been like a battle damaged Spider-Man. I could definitely see that happening. They could have just I know it's probably not as simple as it sounds, but probably retooled this head to have it be like bloody, the mask is torn, have just skin colored painted over it, just have a bunch of scratches, have it look just an absolutely battle ravaged Spider-Man, which would have been awesome. We haven't had something like that since the first Spider-Man movie from Toy Biz. So I think that would have been an awesome move, but that was just me. I'm sure somebody will make a custom of it, and I wish I had enough skills to make a custom. But either way, this guy's a solid, I want to say a 9.5. Because I gave Striker Rico 9.5, I don't want to repeat again. But yeah, definitely a solid 9 I'll give this guy. Definitely terrific, I highly recommend it. If you're a Spider-Man fan, the head is awesome. Even though I still cringe whenever I hear the word Spectacular Spider-Man, because I'm really saddened that they canceled it. But anyway, Gato Perro out. Stay tuned for more reviews and stop motions.